Are you ready to make this year the best year yet? Well, today we're going to be talking about how to do that in this month's Light the Way to Mental Wellness. I am joined by Cindy, our fearless leader. We will be going over different ways on making this year well, overcoming roadblocks, and setting up SMART goals, and how working on ourselves will benefit us along our years. Cindy, welcome.
Thank you, Erica. Nice to be here.
Anything you want to say to begin, like of what goal setting means to you and what you like about it, what you don't like about it, New Year's resolutions, all of that?
Oh, there's so much to say about goals and everything. And goals are good. They have to, and we're going to talk about that at some point, SMART goals. We can all think about or write these big goals that we want to achieve, but there's so many things that go into that to really make it achievable. And so one of the things, actually, I'll start off with that, is it's really not about, maybe we should end with it, but I'll start off with it, that achieving goals isn't about what we do or what we write down, but it's really who we are and who we become. The motivational speaker and success coach Les Brown says, to achieve something you have never achieved before, you must become someone you have never been. And we can only go as far as how we see ourselves, what we believe about ourselves, what we believe about these goals and things like that. So we need to work on limiting beliefs. Are we worthwhile? We have to work on our fears. I can't do this. And we have to work on ourselves to achieve what we want to achieve and have it the best year yet.
I agree, because I started resenting or not liking New Year's resolutions because it was like, oh, I want to do this, but it had nothing to do with what was important in my life, who I am. Mm-hmm. You know, it was like more of a fad thing, like of what's in, what is it that I should be working on? So be more social, do this, do that. But it never, even though it was good for me, it never tied into what I needed. So I needed to, one way that having goals for your life is really taking stock of what has been happening in the past, going back, and what were some of my wins, what were some of my challenges, what worked and what didn't, because then I could come up with more of what is needed, So I see that someone with a low self-esteem, low self-worth, it's going to be difficult for them to set goals in their lives because those will be roadblocks, that it'll be self-sabotage if you don't believe. So yeah, going in and looking back, taking stock on who you are and what you need, I think it's a really good starting point.
Yeah. And along the lines of what you said, Erica, aligning our goals with our values. Don't do it because other people think you need to be more social or you need to do this or need to do that. Do it because it also is consistent with your values.
Great. Yeah. So you mentioned SMART goals. Do you want to explain what that is?
Sure. Yes. So we started to say something like, I'm going to go to the gym this year. You want to change it to something very specific. I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week, starting such and such day, even doing these exercises. So specific, measurable, to say I'm going to go to the gym. Well, if I go to the gym once, does that mean that's a successful goal? Achievable. You want to be able to stretch yourself. So if you do say I'm going to the gym 1 time this year, yes, that's achievable, but let's make it a little something to strive for. Realistic. So instead of saying I'm going to go to the gym for 2 hours every day, 7 days a week, for all 12 months is not realistic. My sister years ago said that she realized she can commit to going to the gym 2 days a week. If she committed to 3, she would stop going. So she knew herself, she knew what her capacity and interest was. 2 days was good for her. And so realistic and time sensitive. So habits, there's habit goals too that can be set up as a SMART goal, and that would be done daily or weekly for a certain amount of time. Achieving a big project or doing something else might say by March 31st or whatever, a month or 6 months, preferably not more than a year out on a goal, because it'll change or we'll lose track of it. And writing down your goal is very key in being able to achieve them. There's some percentage that if you write down your goal, you're more likely to achieve it than if you don't.
Or when you share it with someone, a friend, someone to be accountable to. For someone like me, I like the idea of SMART goals. I think that's great. My problem is taking the time to think and get it started. Like that is my biggest frustration of like, okay, I need to do this, but it's that motivation, that discipline to just do it. And there is no magic pill, magic workaround to get you there. I think, one is hitting that frustration level of, I just need to start this, you know?
Yeah.
But also it's the misconceptions we have about goals that if, that this has to be our goal for the rest of your life, and no, there's flexibilities. This is what works for you now, and things can change. So if you could be 6 months into your goal and you're like, you know what, this is becoming more stressful for me to go to the gym for 2 hours every day. So I think I need to reevaluate and adjust.
Right.
And that's okay. And I think that's where we get stuck, where we think it's something permanent. And if we don't hit it exactly on the mark, then we're going to fail. So I like the SMART goals. It provides that flexibility and just having grace with yourself of, you analyze week by week if you need to on how this is working for you.
Yeah, and that's good. We need to look at even daily sometimes how we're doing towards our goals. And a couple other things in writing down goals and deciding on what goals to have is speak in the positive. You write them down. You don't want to say, gee, I hope to lose 20 pounds this year, but I'm not sure. Instead say, I will be losing weight and get to my goal weight of 20 pounds less than what I am now. And also the using I am statements, which we know in communication. And so communicating with ourselves too. I am doing this. I am going to the gym twice a week, 3 times a week. I am going to do stretches every day for 5 minutes or something like that. And that can, as we know with communication, using I am statements and stating things in a positive is so helpful in receiving it. And so we can receive it too when we make those comments.
And how do we overcome setbacks or failures? Like, how can we, turn them into stepping stones here? Like, what's a one way to reframe it? How can we see our failures as stepping stones? What's something practical that we could do?
I think having some reflection of, all right, how come I didn't get that done? Am I believing something that's not true, a limiting belief? Am I fearful? We may be afraid to find that new job that may pay more, or we may be fearful to even lose weight or reach out to people and be more social, whatever it is. So seeing what that fear is, seeing the root of it, or just reframing it to, I will not be afraid. Fear, false evidence appearing real, make it fall and rise up, or whatever the acronym is, the opposite. And asking for help, accountability, having people, like you mentioned before, being accountable to people, or having people know what your goal is, again, a much higher success rate than if you keep it to yourself. And also knowing our why. Why are we doing this? What's the fight? What's the battle that I want to win? It may be for your child. It may be to be in less pain. It may be to be able to go on a vacation, even whatever it can be tied to, can be helpful. And also a little reward at the end. My business coach one time said, pick a reward that you do after you do your writing. And I said, I can have my reward before I do my writing, which did not help my writing at all. So being able, and that's where other people to help be accountable to can help with that no, you don't get the reward till after you accomplish that step. And this just came to mind too. I know I'm kind of throwing a lot out there, but don't look at if you have a big goal, as Darren Hardy says, big, hairy, audacious goal. Don't look from here to this big goal up there. Take one step at a time. What can I do today to get a little closer to that goal? Like if you want to write a novel, it's overwhelming if you sit and say, oh no, I got to write my novel now. If you say, I'm going to write 200 words or 1,000 words today, that's more achievable than this big novel. So taking off chunks each step of the way can really be helpful.
Yeah, several sayings that therapist likes to say is like, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Focus on progress, not perfection. And that's something that we get stuck with. We're in that culture of it has to be right. It has, you have to do it right. And we're comparing ourselves to everyone else. So our goals, there's not a lot of room for failure in our society. So when we focus on perfection, we're really setting ourselves up for failure. And just in the Down syndrome community, we say, not milestones, inch stones, because our kids tend to develop at a slower pace. So we do inch stones where, hey, he lifted his head, he put his knee in crawling position, and we're always working on those little micro steps that help reach the end goal of walking. So
that's great advice. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And a couple using tools. I've used Michael Hyatt's Full Focus Planner and Darren Hardy's Living Your Best Year Ever. And both talk about, so you can have hundreds and hundreds of goals, and really writing those down. And okay, what's the balance in my life? Where do I need to bring more balance? And then cutting that down to like 10 goals, and then cutting 10 goals into 3. And what are your top 3 goals that will make this the best year ever for you? And write them down. Write down the steps needed to take to get there. Then each 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 week, what are the top 3 things that I can do to achieve those for the week? And then each day, what are the 3 things I need to do to get me a little closer? So if people get overwhelmed when they have this to-do list, I do. I fill up my page with all the things I have to do. And then the trick is try to schedule them into your calendar. It's like, I'm lucky if I get 2 things done with, everything else. So be okay. And that's the perfectionism too. I got to get everything done on my to-do list or else I'm a failure. But if you put it to 3 things, what are the 3 most important things today? Do them first. And it's a lot easier. There's a saying, Chinese proverb that says, eat a live frog first thing in the morning and the rest of your day isn't so bad. And that's such a great saying, because what is the thing that you've been avoiding? You don't want to do that. It's like, do that first thing. And you will get more accomplished the rest of the day. When we don't do that, when we keep avoiding it, it really saps us of energy. We don't get anything done, really. We just kind of drag through the day. So that's a good reminder there. Or maybe that frog needs to be, I like frogs, so I don't want to, needs to be chopped down a little bit to a leg or something to help achieve that.
Okay, we'll put some adobo on it. So that brings us to like our next point of staying consistent. That helps us stay consistent, because that consistency forms habits, and then it's not much work anymore because it's coming second nature to us. So yeah, start small, build momentum, use tools to track. I have on my phone alarms that go off to remind me of things, calendar, visual calendar. So there's different ways that we can set ourselves up for success with certain tools and, creating consistency.
Yeah.
And that's one of the benefits of that will help us reach our goal, and so our next is choosing meaningful goals. And that's what you were talking about in the beginning, where you said we were going to come back to that, is choosing goals that are valuable to us. That, I'm not going to say, go write a book if I'm not even interested in writing a book, right? Why would that be one of my goals? So what's meaningful to me in my moment? Who am I? What am I? What's important to me, my family, my career, and aligning those goals, reflecting and moving forward, looking back and then looking forward to what is it that I need to see? What is I want to see? How can I push myself? And then build on top of that every year, every day. As we can.
Yeah, I like your point of consistency too, that consistency wins. Don't go hog wild to get these big things done and burn out in a week. Consistency will win the race. And with your why do you want to do this? A goal doesn't have to be financial or work related. It could be, I want to build better relationships with my family or friends by such and such, doing such and such. Or I want to take time to explore the area around me more rather than just working all the time. I want to be able to get home at a certain time from work to spend with my family and put my children to bed every night. Things like that. So what are your values? What is your why?
And that will help us reach our goals. I think the challenges for me is consistency, because I don't like routine, so So that would be one of my challenges where if I see myself doing it every single day, it'll annoy me. But I live with routine. Like I thrive in routine, but then my brain is like, warning, you're being comfortable, go change it up a bit.
And really our brains, 95% of our brain power is routines, because the brain likes routine. It doesn't like to, it uses a lot of calories to think. It doesn't like to, it mainly likes to survive. So the more it can be predictable and do the same thing, like if we think about all the routines that we do have, I like when people say, I don't have any routine. Yes, you do. Just look what you do every morning. And whether it be getting in the car, how often do we drive to work and not even remember how we got here because it's so routine now? Or, tying our shoes or whatever it may be. But those routines can help if we're not rigid, and that they're helpful for us. But 95% of the brain does like routine, because also too, if we say, okay, one of my weaknesses is potato chips. It's like, so if I focus, I'm not going to have potato chips. First of all, my willpower will fail and I'm going to crave potato chips. If I just make it a routine that I'm not buying them, that's it. Then I don't have to think about it. And then the willpower doesn't fail me, because it will fail us, our willpower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point. So what we want to know is if in the comments, you guys can post what are some of your goals, what were some of your challenges. We'd like to cheer you on for this year and help keep you accountable. If you ever need help with that, we're here at Light the Way. Reach out to us. We'll put our information on the notes, and you could always find us at, what's our website, Cindy?
lightthewaycounseling.com.
Yes, and we're on Facebook and Instagram, and we always want to find ways to connect with you. So come find us and connect with us, and we're here every step of the way to help you reach your goals.
And also, what tools have helped you achieve your goals or keep you consistent in your goals? And if you have any, if you discover, wow, I'm hit a wall, what's keeping me from passing through that wall, getting through that wall, give us a call. We can help with that.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us at Light the Way Counseling for our YouTube series, Light the Way to Mental Wellness. Thank you, Cindy, and thank you everyone for listening. We'll see you next
Erica.
time.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.